Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more detailed videos. Rocco paced in the dimly lit hallway, every footstep echoing louder in his ears than the last. His heart hammered as he tried to piece together the fragments of that night, fragments that refused to stay hidden. The shock of what he discovered still stung. Something about those photos, the whispering voices, and the proof he'd been seeking. And as Friday rolled into Saturday, he knew nothing would ever be the same. Gio stood outside Anna's door, breath catching in his throat. He pressed his hand against the cold wood, recalling the moment he kissed her, soft, urgent, laden with emotion he couldn't suppress. The taste of her lips, the sweetness of the unspoken promise, none of it felt meaningless. But with that kiss came consequences. Eyes would see. Hearts would react. And Gio wondered if Anna felt as electrified as he did or as terrified. Jason sat at the hospital bed, the fluorescent lights above buzzing like distant threats. He stared at the monitors, at the tubes, at the life he once knew. The predicament weighed on him. Stay and fight, or walk away and risk losing everything. Guilt, fear, confusion. They held him captive. His choices now would determine more than just his survival. They would decide who he would become. Every breakthrough in Rocco's investigation had come with better camouflage, tighter caution. He had followed the trail of encrypted messages, late-night rendezvous, and secret rendezvous points. And each clue pointed toward Anna. It wasn't supposed to be that way, not for someone he cared about deeply. His heart rebelled against the implications, but logic wouldn't be ignored. The photos, the receipts, the overheard words, they all coalesced into a portrait of betrayal. Or was it misinterpretation? Rocco wanted to believe the latter. He prayed to believe. Rocco recoiled when he saw the documents. Receipts for high-dollar purchases made in Anna's name, transfers from accounts she should not have had access to, a name Marco etched throughout papers, contracts, phone logs. He tracked down Marco's number, saw the texts. Cold, final, demanding. Marco's messages didn't convey tenderness. They conveyed command. And in that moment, Rocco realized Anna was tangled in something far darker than he had imagined. That night, Rocco confronted Anna in the kitchen. The smell of fresh coffee mingled with the tension in the air. She stood in front of the window, city lights behind her. "Tell me the truth." Rocco's voice was low, hurt. Anna turned, tears shining, shoulders trembling. She opened her mouth to speak, closed it. Rocco's worst fear, silence. And then she whispered her version, words coated in fear and regret. Anna claimed Marco had coerced her, threatened someone she loved. She'd done things to protect them. But her story raised more questions than it answered. Rocco's gut twisted. Trust shattered. He didn't know whether to fight, burn bridges, or walk away. Meanwhile, Gio lay awake, replaying Anna's scent. Kissed her. Anna. Not meant to happen. And when it did, there was an intensity he tried to ignore but couldn't. Guilt edged, and Anna was involved in things he didn't fully understand. He wondered what the impact would be. Would she see this as betrayal? Would she recoil? Or embrace? He saw her next morning at Crimson Lights. She arrived late, flustered. Gio watched as she took coffee orders, smiled at regulars, but avoided his eyes. He knew she felt exposed. Pulling strength from the warmth of the latte in his hand, Gio sat beside her. The tension between them crackled. Then, impulsively, he reached out, brushing her hand. She flinched. And yet, she didn't pull away. The space between them held a promise. He leaned in, lips trembling. The kiss was brief but heavy. Gio tasted coffee and lingering regret. When he pulled back, Anna's eyes glistened in twilight. Silent confession. They disconnected, each breathing heavily. Gio searched Anna's face for reassurance. She swallowed hard, nodded once, as though admitting to something that belonged to them alone. It felt intimate and terrifying. Back at the hospital, Jason wrestled with the reality creeping over him. The prognosis, the uncertainty, the appointments, and the whispers around his bed. Pity veiled as concern, sympathy masquerading as curiosity. Jason heard every rumor. He felt every sideways glance. He wondered whether people saw promise in him still or saw a man broken. He studied his reflection in the window glass. The scars he could see, the ones he couldn't. He thought of the choice: embrace the treatment, endure the pain, risk failure, or walk out, attempt a life beyond these walls, unknown and unguaranteed. Both paths held danger, but one might destroy him faster than illness ever could. And then came the message: "We need to talk." It was from Carly. With that forward ping, Jason's body froze. Carly, the one who knows everything. The past, the secrets. She stood at the end of the hallway. His heart thudded. Did she know? Did she realize how fragile he felt? How desperate to be more than his circumstances? She stepped forward, offering a seat beside the bed. Jason swallowed, nodded. Gio couldn't sleep. Dawn pulled at the curtains, flooding his room with soft light. He called Rocco, not friends, but connected now by Anna, by secrets. He left a message: "Need to talk." "It's about her." He hesitated, finger hovering, then hit send. His heart pounded. The truth was coming. Gio wondered if Rocco would be angry, betrayed, or understanding. Rocco got the message while reviewing bank statements at the station. The red digits distracted him. Guilt. Hatred. Confusion. He texted back, "Now?" Gio replied, "Yes, location Crimson Lights." They met between clinking cups and the murmur of morning crowds. Gio looked smaller than usual. Rocco's jaw tightened. "You kissed her." Rocco's voice was the steady line between calm and fury. "Yes." Gio exhaled. "But it meant something." "It did?" Rocco asked, voice hoarse. That moment it was more honest than anything I've said lately. Joe's eyes shone with resolve. Rocco studied him. The burden of discovery weighed heavier than the betrayal. He wanted to scream. Instead, he said nothing. He walked away, tears hidden. Anna listened from inside, heels tapping against tile, coffee forgotten. She heard Joe's voice, Rocco's. The bitterness in Rocco's tone, the desperation in Joe's. She felt her facade crack. She wanted to run. And yet, she stood there rooted. Jason's conversation with Carly felt like walking through a storm. Words tumbled. Carly's eyes brimmed with concern. She wanted to know if Jason was holding back, if fear was keeping him from fighting for himself. He looked away. "What if I fail?" He whispered. "What if nobody wants me once they see me like this?" Carly reached out, hand brushing his. "Everyone wants you," she said. "Not the shell you." Jason shook his head. The lines between identity and illness blurred. He thought of the dreams once bright, the work he refused to abandon. But the weight of uncertainty pressed in. Carly's presence offered solace. Not answers, but the strength to keep going. Later that day, Anna confronted Rocco alone in the alley behind Crimson Lights. The air smelled of rain-wet pavement, neon signs, loneliness. She stood beneath the flickering lamp, her eyes rimmed with fatigue. "Why didn't you believe me?" Anna's voice trembled. "Because nothing in this mess makes sense." Rocco swallowed, his hands in fists. "You let me see the pieces, but you won't show me the whole." "Who is Marco to you?" Anna hesitated. "Someone who holds my past hostage. Someone you don't want to meet." "But I couldn't leave. Not when you were at risk." "Which risk?" Rocco demanded. "Yours? Mine? Both?" Anna's knees threatened to buckle. "Both." She reached out. Rocco stepped back. "I kissed Gio." Her words came out softly. She didn't demand forgiveness, just acknowledgement. "But I never stopped wanting you." Silence stretched. Rocco closed his eyes. In the space between breaths, he weighed her truth against his pain. Night came for Jason. He lay awake, monitors glowing beside him. He thought of Anna's confession, Joe's kiss, Rocco's discovery, how they pulled apart at seams. But his story, too, was unraveling. Guilt and love tangled in his chest. He pulled the sheets close, eyes fixed on ceiling. Could he still be the man people believed in? Could he still love? Could he let himself be loved? His mind circled around yes, around fight, around this is worth more than fear. Morning blurred into midweek. Rocco drifted through precinct corridors. Every badge, every uniform, every face reminded him of betrayal but also justice. He opened a file, a name popped. Marco. A match. The man behind Anna's trouble had a record. Fraud. Coercion. But also worse. Human trafficking. Arms dealing. Rocco swallowed. The truth was darker than he'd feared and close. Very close. Gio came by unannounced. He found Rocco at his desk, the documents spread out like grave markers. Joe's expression sharpened when he saw the file. He's dangerous, Rocco said, voice flat. I have enough to bring him in, but Anna, she's in more trouble than we thought. Joe's chest clenched. He stepped forward. Then we do it together. Lounged in his hospital room, Jason got word of the arrest. Marco had been picked up, charges filed. For fraud, coercion. Not yet everything, but enough. Enough to begin for some. But Marco's threats had been made. Some people had already felt their sting. The episode climaxes as all three are forced into reckoning. Rocco stands over Anna's door that night, wanting entry. Gio behind him, unsure. Jason across town, learning that being broken doesn't have to mean being finished. Rocco knocks. Anna answers. Tears, relief, anger tangled in her eyes. Gio stays back, a silent witness. Rocco steps forward. They speak. Admit. Forgive? Maybe later. Jason rests. Carly holds his hand. Hope flickers in his chest. For now, that has to be enough. When the dust settles, one thing becomes clear. Love is complicated. Truth is heavy. And choices, those moments of push and pull, are what define us. For Rocco, the discovery shattered his world but opened his eyes. For Gio, the kiss forced honesty. For Jason, the predicament revealed courage he didn't know he had. This week, secrets surface, loyalties test, and hearts fracture, so they might heal. Come back to our channel for all your updates. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.